So excited today because we have the cream of the crop in the industry that's going to be sharing some insights with you today. But before we officially start, now we have officially started. We are on air. Yes, a thumbs up for this for sure. And I want to remind people that leave comments in the comment area of where you're from. Have you been on a live before? This is a live that we weren't anticipating, but we've had some big changes coming, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And we still you still have time to sign up for the conference with our high-tech ticker, tick, 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 tick. And with that, I am turning it up. Yeah, this is as high-tech as we're going to get here, with that, I'm going to turn it over to my good buddy, Stephanie Shipley.
You know what? It's all about content. Give the people the content. The medium is, less important. So as we talk about content, thank you very much, Kathleen. It's good to be here today. This is the Monday before the official conference. And in only a couple of hours from now, I believe 2 hours and 15 minutes, launches the official meet and greet of the IBPSA 2020 virtual conference. Woo!
I know, yay!
So excited to be kicking this off with such a talented group of individuals. But anyways, I'll leave that to a little bit later. We'll talk a little bit more about the conference in a second, but I wanted to introduce my guests today. And you know what? At this point, if you don't know these people, you've been living in a mayonnaise jar, because we've got right here, we have Carmen Rustenbeck of the IBPSA, the person that's primarily responsible for making all of the decisions to bring the virtual conference to fruition in the first place. Right over here, down in the corner, we have Annette from Airapy, and Annette was one of our guests on our Facebook Live last week, I believe. We were talking about aerosolization of viruses and all sorts of stuff, and surface cleaning with Mel Forbes, and we combined that with Annette's presentation. So that was awesome information. And then last but definitely not least, I can't quite get all the way down there, but this is Mr. Todd Hepburn from Virox. And you know what? The three of you, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join Kathleen and I. It's really, really appreciated. But as I understand it, a little birdie told me, I have it on very good authority, that there are some big things that are going to be happening at this conference as it relates to protocols and standards and cleaning. And Carmen, maybe you could just kind of toss us into that in what's going on at the IBPSA conference that, by the way, starts in 2 hours and 10 minutes. With regards to some new standards and protocols. What's been going on over there?
Well, I am so excited. So Todd Hepburn reached out to me and said, hey, have you thought about some new standards and protocols? And this is last year. And so I said, well, that sounds like a fantastic idea. So we partnered with Todd and his team, Annette at Airapy. We brought in Jessica Finnegan, who had experience on the veterinary side as well as the non-vet side. And we started collaborating together what those standards and protocols should look like. For those of you who don't know, if you go over to the rescue.com website, which is part of Virox, Todd and his team have done a fantastic job of putting in protocols that you just go in and you answer questions and it spits out the protocol for you based on your specification for your facility. So that was a great start. Then we had Zoetis come in and give us some help on infectious disease and things we needed to think about as it related to all that. And then Todd says, we need to put this all together. And I'm like, yes, we do. And Todd says, I'll do that. So now at conference this year, we're going to be presenting those standards in a completed book format. And we were thrilled to be able to do this. We were hoping for a big in-person event with a lot of celebration and woo-woo, but this turned out the way it's going to be this year. So we thought we would want to give everybody a heads up that they needed to go over to Todd's booth to get those standards. But after conference, they'll be available to everybody, but they're going to be introduced at conference this year. And so there's a lot of pieces to it. So Todd, why don't you start, and then we'll move over to the air piece with Airapy.
Sure, thanks. First things first, I'd like to just make sure that I want to thank everybody. This was a team effort. Yes. I love the props you're throwing us, but Annette and Zoetis and Dr. Jason Stahl and Jessica were so critical in being able to create and collaborate on these and ensure that they are really the best possible resources for the industry. And that was our goal. We wanted to make sure that, it was last year, this is before COVID happened. This wasn't in response to an acute situation. This was really something where we saw that there was a need within the industry around infection prevention, and not just infection prevention, but making sure that pet owners understand the infection prevention strategies that are being undertaken within a pet services facility. Because you can do the outstanding medical hospital grade infection prevention, and if your customers don't know about it, then you're not really getting the benefit of all the hard work and effort that you're putting in. So this was a very, very much a team effort. At Virox, of course, we're a manufacturer of medical disinfectants. This is core to what we do, where we want every animal, every person that enters a facility to be free from pathogens that can be transmitted on a surface. And that's our role, is the surface disinfection. We have a chemistry that's has no peers. It's the safest, it's the most efficacious chemistry that you can find on the market. And so we're very, very proud of that. And we're proud to be able to bring our resources to a market that's doing such important and valuable things. You know, these are all entrepreneurs. That's core to our values as well. These are people that will actually benefit from what we can contribute. And so it's very, very rewarding to be able to help out in that capacity.
So having said that, when we look at these standards, and we'll hear from Annette here in just a second, because from what I understand from Todd, your focus from the Virox standpoint was really on surface cleaning, and I'm sure that Annette's going to chime in momentarily with the air and purifying the air and sanitizing and disinfecting the air products. But when we look at these new standards, are we talking about, okay, this is how you clean, and this is the deliverable, this is how clean it should be? Or like, here are the steps in the cleaning process that you need to take, regardless of what products you decide to use? Is that what we're looking at when we talk about these new standards?
Across the board, the standards are standards by definition are what you need to meet in order to be considered safe. So that means from a cleaning and disinfection perspective, that you need to have chosen a disinfectant that is both efficacious and compliant with your OSHA regulations. You need to have posted protocol on how to do that. Now, we're not dictating what protocol you have to take or what product you have to use. You know, this has to be a universal universal standard that you meet regardless of the product. Now, obviously, you need to choose something that's efficacious. You need to make sure your technology works. But the idea here is not that we're going to tell you how to do it necessarily, but what standards you need to achieve. And then we'll provide you the resources to be able to do that well. So okay. That's where, you know, from a standards perspective, we acknowledge that we're industry. You know, we're a for-profit company, and we're gonna help provide these. But that's why we pulled in Dr. Jason Stahl, who is a world-class veterinarian and epidemiologist, to come in and review and refine and make sure that these are the most objective, best possible standards. And he's going to put his name on there. This is the same veterinarian that led the American Animal Hospital Association guideline task force. He's produced infectious disease strategies in canine group settings already for the AKC. You know, he's a very, very well respected and objective epidemiologist, and he's just the right person that we needed to be able to do this. So we collaborated to build all the resources. He reviewed and approved, and obviously IBPSA did the same because they have to put their name on it. And then we want to be able to support that with more industry specific resources. So that's where, for example, at Virox, we have the website learnaboutrescue.com, and you can go in there and you can build out your own protocol for each customized protocol for each area of a boarding facility, and that or a grooming facility or a veterinarian, anything that's animal health related. So these are resources that we are delivering in parallel to support the achievement of the standards.
You know, just to kind of piggyback onto that, Todd, on one of the IBPSA traveling roadshows that we did recently in response to COVID-19, the whole create your own protocol on the Virox website came up. And I believe it was Carmen that was talking about it at the time. And immediately after that call, I went on, and just for any viewers on here, I did all of my cleaning, sanitation, and disinfection protocols, every single one for every area of my facility in 30 minutes combined.
And you can save them, and they're branded to your hospital or your facility.
Absolutely. It's got my logo on it. My staff thought I worked for weeks and weeks on those things. It was 30 minutes. I was in and done. I was like, oh, the boarding kennel, the office, the play area, the outdoor turf, the this, the that. I did them all. And they were like, wow, you've been really busy. And I'm like, yeah.
I'm glad we could help.
You know, Stephanie, to pick up on you. So before I ever even talked about the standards that Todd's team had built, I went out and checked at them myself. And I think that's what people here that are watching this show need to understand. I don't present anything to the membership that I personally have not gone and reviewed or tested to say, yes, that works as easily as they say it works. And so the standard piece that the protocol piece that Todd's team had built was fantastic. At the same time, Airapy has gone out of their way to make sure that they've clearly identified the facility square footage, all the ins and outs of why we're going to custom fit Airapy in your facility. And they have done their work with their veterinary staff and their universities to show how viruses stay in the air. When do they fall down? Can they get into the ventilation system? How are they moved through? And nothing was more apparent that this was happening than with the dog flu. So at that 2 years ago, we started having dog flu just race across our nation. We were unprepared for it. And Airapy had already started doing the testing for all of those viruses. Well, Airapy's done the testing for COVID also, and more than just dogs and cats. If you ever have a moment to sit down with Annette and look at all her spreadsheets for every species they've tested all these viruses against, I don't know who in the United States has a water buffalo as a pet, but she could tell you how long it will, what viruses will affect a water buffalo and what happens if you have a Airapy system. So, you know, if you decide you want a water buffalo as a pet, reach out to Annette for that. No, but in reality, that's the depth of the testing on both sides of this conversation, the side of surface cleaning and the side of air cleaning and what floats through our air. So I really want people to understand this has never been done at this level with this kind of cooperation in our industry ever. So for me, I am very proud to have been asked to be a part in IBPSA, to be a part of this and something to bring to the table. Okay, Annette, I'll shut up. Talk about your side.
Something before Annette says anything. Carmen, what you mentioned is that people can have they should have a face-to-face conversation with Annette. They can do that at the conference. So if you haven't signed up yet, you still have time to sign up. And for members, it's only $199. For non-members, it's $249. You can become a member and get the discounted price. But I want people to really, and I'm saying this from an entrepreneurial perspective and also a pet parent perspective, I want people to really look at the caliber of information that's being brought to you through these lives, first of all, and you bump that up to what's going to happen at the conference. And I really encourage people that if you're thinking, should I attend the conference? Absolutely, you should attend the conference. And with that, I'll turn it over to Annette.
Oh, thank you. But, you know, I have to definitely agree with Todd. I mean, it was just really humbling for us too, to be able to work with people like Zoetis. They brought a lot to the table. Dr. Stoll, I mean, we could not have done what we did without them. I'm bringing one piece of the puzzle in a multi-pronged approach. So when it comes to, you know, air cleaning, that's where I've researched for the past 12 years. And so I'm excited that, standards are being brought up, because right now, unfortunately, everybody's been like a free-for-all. We run to different places to find out different information to be able to put everything together, and we don't know what's right, what's not. So having IBPS, as far as an association, want to have high standards and want to make sure that everything's being vetted before it's being produced and being offered to people within the IBPSA community was very nice. I enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed working with the team. Very knowledgeable and very good at what they do. Like Carmen said, I mean, for us, this has been a passion. We have been able to make sure that in the very beginning, we were looking at every type of pathogen that we are aware of that's known, to be able to see the genome and how they spread. Air quality has been a tough one because people don't see what's in the air. And so for us, we really have to explain to them that even though you don't see it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? And now we're hearing about it. So I definitely have to thank everybody that's been able to be a resource and back us up to be able to bring this to fruition. But I think that when you do see the standards, it's not going, like you were even saying too, Stephanie, it's not going to be a simply, we've been through this, we know this, we've done this. I mean, this is going to be a beautifully, what word am I looking for, Todd? It's gonna be interactive. I mean, you're gonna be able to, go through it. You're gonna be able to look at the resources, check the information, but this is all being brought to you so that we can get your standards as high as possible. Because I know a lot of people in this industry have suffered, but like we said, what, we're gonna come out of this a lot stronger than going in. But if nothing else, I mean, we're pretty much familiar with diseases, right? This is not something that's new to this industry. So now we just have to figure out what are the best protocols and what we can put into place to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can. And I really think you're going to be happy with what you've seen. I'm thrilled to death to be a part of this and to see what's already been come out.
So having said that, so this is all going to be launched at conference, right? You're going to be able to visit the, where is it going to be available at conference? At the Virox booth?
Yes, at Todd's booth. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll make sure that that we kind of point people who haven't seen this particular broadcast to the Virox booth to will they be able to access a copy of it after the conference? Where will people be able to get their dirty little paws on this document to make sure that we all have
You have such a way with words.
Right.
You know what? I'm watching them bath dog after dog after dog next door because it's pouring rain here, probably for the first time in months.
I see.
So I'm like, oh, dirty little paws.
So at IBPSA, for our members, we'll have it in the member store for download for free. We will make it available to, for free. Yes. It's good. It's even going to get better. It's getting better. It's getting better. So you go to IBPSA.com, register for petcareconference.com. Thank you. And so it'll be downloaded for free, but there's even more to this. As we start to build the library of background information for the standard, people will be able to not only look at the standard, but they'll be able to say, okay, well, this one standard, we're going to build a library of information behind the standard. And because the standard is a living document, if there's anything new or if there's a better way or we need to change protocol because we learned something, we will come back together as a team and make that adjustment in the document. So this is not, okay, we delivered the standard, see you in 5 years. No,
right.
This is the standard today with what we know to be true today. If tomorrow a new something shows up, well, then we'll talk about what we need to adjust on the standard for that new whatever comes in the door.
And you know what I think is absolutely brilliant about this, to be honest, is, when I started in the industry, right before I opened my own pet care facility over a decade ago, I couldn't find anybody that would show me the way. What should I clean with? How should I properly do this? For some reason in the pet care industry, we seem to be a little bit on the secretive side. But yeah, and you know what? I know you're laughing, but because it's true. But the one thing about the IBPSA is you can go there and there are no secrets. You become a member, you have hours and hours of video library, you have access to cutting edge information. So if you are starting or thinking about entrepreneurship or doing this as a career, a second career, a third career, it doesn't even matter. At least you can get the right information when you need it. And that's at the beginning of when you're launching your business. And if you need that update, now we've got these standards and these protocols to help professionals so they don't have to, beg, cheat, and steal to get, cutting edge information. The IBPSA partnered with, Zoetis and Pet Airapy and Virox and Jessica Finnegan, what she brought to the table, and did the background work for us as entrepreneurs, as pet care facility owners. So, from my perspective as a pet care facility owner, I'm exceptionally thankful because realistically, you can't get that information somewhere. And I tried. I went to every kennel. I knocked on the doors of every kennel in my area and nobody would let me in for so much as a tour. And then I was like, no, this can't be the way that we are in this industry. It's got to be better. And then I found the IBPSA, and indeed it is better. So thank you so much for putting this
We're
together.
doing our best.
And I want to
Absolutely.
remind people, oh, go ahead, Carmen, please.
I was just going to say the other thing is that these standards, we're going to be taking these to the national and international level so that when we start talking about essential service, that we're saying, look, we are an essential service and here's some standards that we're meeting to prove that we are setting the standard for how care should be for pets and for our employees when things like COVID come along and sort of shut us down for a while. So we're using these standards to help us in bigger ways than we ever thought or imagined.
And these type of oh, go ahead, Annette.
No, I was going to say too, we talk about, what's happening now, but actually, we don't want to look at just today. We want to look at tomorrow. Exactly. We're still dealing with things from the past and from last year. So, we're looking at, continuing these standards because unfortunately diseases are not going to go away. Illness is not going to go away. So what we want to do is make sure we're doing the best we can to protect our indoor environment so that whatever comes around tomorrow, that we're going to be prepared and be better, readily able to be able to tackle it. So again, that's why these standards are so vital to make sure that we're doing the proper cleaning and we're doing everything correctly.
Excellent. And I just want to remind people that you'll learn more about this and so much more at the conference, which is petcareconference.com, petcareconference.com. You can still sign up, and there's a nice networking event tonight. It's a 2-hour networking event, and then conference starts tomorrow. And what I really love about this conference is that people can go to whatever session that they want to go to out of the 30, how many sessions are there, Carmen? 33?
I think we're 32? At, something 32 sessions right now.
32 sessions. You can pick the ones you want to go to during the conference, and for 6 months, you can watch the replays of all the other sessions. And, they're like a good movie. You watch it once, you get one thing, and then you watch it a second, third, fourth time, you get even more. And so I encourage people, go ahead and sign up now. You still have time, and you will get the replay. You'll get the continuing education units. And this is something, if you're listening to these folks, you're hearing that the standard is very high, and knowing this information could prevent you from having to shut your facility down. And I think you really need to look at it from that perspective. People are going through very uncertain times, and this really lays a foundation for certainty that you will be raising your own standard for your customers and clients.
Yep. And you know what? Being open, honest, and transparent, I did go through this at my own facility a couple of years ago, and that's how I met Annette and Johnny at the Pet Airapy booth. And we had a kennel cough outbreak. We ended up having to close our kennel, or we decided to close our kennel for a period of 14 days. In order to make sure that anybody that had symptoms was able to identify it, et cetera, et cetera. And that closure cost our facility $60,000. $60,000 in 2 weeks. And people say, maybe we don't make 60,000. No, but I had to also turn away any reservations that wanted to come in the week before, who wanted to leave on that day or wanted to arrive on the 14th day and stay for 2 weeks afterwards. So all of that business went away. And I will tell you, for the price of the conference, $199, I would exchange that for my $60,000 back at any point in time, let me tell you. Absolutely. Not to mention the fact, the crushing feeling on your heart in this industry of knowing that these pets are sick. So right. One of it is there's a financial gain on this side of not having to close your facility, but the other side, what I found the hardest about that outbreak was just getting those calls saying Fluffy has kennel cough, Fluffy has kennel cough, Fluffy. And everyone was like a hammer on my heart because they were at my facility, and maybe because they were at my facility, they got sick. And it just killed me. So anything that I can do to prevent, you know, a runny nose, a sniffle, human, dog, cat, ferret, beaver, I don't really care. I don't want
Water
any
buffalo.
water buffalo. You know, in our industry, we are an industry of empaths and we care. And that's what I always say to my clients. The hardest part about the job that I do is that I care about the animals and, or the care for the animals, because I do care, but I care about them. Providing care is different than caring about them. And I say to my staff when they go through training, I said, how many of us could sleep at night if we thought even just for a second that because a dog came to my facility, they got sick? None of us could. I can't live with that. And so there is something to be said for standards. So kudos to the group that put these together over the past year, because I'm sure this just didn't float down from, you know, from the rainbow, from the sky. That there was a lot of work and collaboration that went into this. And so kudos to you guys, because it elevates our industry. And right now, you know, we spoke with Jamie D'Amato Migdal the other day, and we were talking about the difference between being a hobbyist in pet care and being a professional in pet care. And one of the things that defines being a professional, as we discussed, education, and the other is a set of minimum standards. It doesn't mean you can't exceed that, but there has to be a bar set somewhere. And kudos to this group of individuals for finally getting up and setting the bar. Good for you guys.
Absolutely. And again, petcareconference.com, petcareconference.com. And, you know, there's a few people that I've reached out to and you said, well, I'll check it out. Quit checking it out and just sign up. I mean, when I mentor my clients and they say, well, maybe, I said, oh, no, there's no maybe. If you want to raise the standard, you've got to be the standard.
Absolutely. And you know what? You want to talk to Annette. Annette, you just had a study published. Is that right?
Yeah, actually 2 now.
2 studies that have recently been published. I mean, these people are
2
the
weeks.
top educated professionals in our industry.
Absolutely.
I got this little bad boy right here that's going to allow me to have a private conversation with Annette in about an hour and a half. So, you know, just by one click of the mouse, I have instant access to get all my questions answered. Like, honestly, if people haven't gotten their ticket to this conference yet, I really don't know what you're waiting for, because
Exactly.
at no point could you get this level of education anywhere else. And for people who are PAC certified, you've got 30 plus CEUs. You attend this conference, you've got 6 months to go through all the stuff, and you've got all your CEUs for the next 3 years. So it's not a matter of if you register, it's a matter of TikTok, guys, because the meet and greet starts in less than 2 hours. And I'm going to be there. Kathleen, you're going to be there?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Absolutely.
I might switch over from coffee to something a little bit different.
I think so. I think we all should. It is a meet and greet after all, which usually comes with
Absolutely
hors d'oeuvres and beverages.
There it
Absolutely.
is. Okay. Well, with that, is there anything else before we close and get ready for the networking event? And again, petcareconference.com, go ahead and press that registration button, get registered so you can enjoy all of the benefits of the conference 2020.
Thank you
There
very
is
much.
one more thing.
Yes.
Annette is giving away something at the conference.
Oh.
And so I'll let you ladies talk to Annette about what this little thing is that she's going to give away at the conference, which she just told me about like a few days ago.
Okay.
Oh, now?
Oh, spill
Okay.
it. Spill it. Yeah, spill it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay. I'm
are you
waiting.
there? Annette, are you
Oh,
there?
sorry
So
about
Annette
that.
has a room pet Airapy system that just
Well, since Carmen froze, we're going to keep it a secret. No, so we're going to be giving away a air purifier for a small independent room.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Really?
incredible.
Is there a
Yep.
like is it portable or is it
It is
wall
a
mount?
portable unit. No, it's not a wall. It's a portable unit. And I really, we found that while we were protecting a lot of the rooms within the buildings, I know that people have to go and do their work in their offices too. And sometimes they're bringing their animals into the office with them. So we want to give a little bit of an extra purification
Nice.
for that room. So we've got it for like an office room.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the
That-
value of that?
Fabulous.
$349.
How much?
$349.
So a $349 possible prize that you can win at the conference, and we're giving away thousands of dollars worth of prizes. So, you know, your odds of winning something are pretty high, and the odds of winning in the game of the pet industry are very high when you go to this conference.
And we also have our friends down here at Virox, Todd Hepburn and his team, who have donated a prize as well that we're going to be giving away at conference. So, you know what, guys, you don't want to miss it. Scroll down. If you are watching this on Facebook, just scroll down a little bit and hit the register now button, and let's get this party started in
All right.
45 minutes.
Okay. And with that, thank you all very much.
Okay, see y'all soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
care.
Have a
Bye.
wonderful
Bye-bye.
afternoon. We'll see you in a couple hours.
Okay,
I'll be
bye.
there.
Bye-bye.
Bye.